How's it going? Nathan Hawken here, and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to dig a little bit deeper and we're going to talk about your intuition. More importantly, how you can begin to listen to your intuition. Begin to trust your intuition. Your intuition is that voice in your head that gives you some very subtle suggestions which come in the form of a whisper a lot of the time. It's that feeling in your gut that tells you to do something or to not do something. Now we could put it down as your unconscious mind if you wish. If you're trained in that, then it might be a good reference for you. I like to refer to it as your unconscious mind. But for the purpose of this video, we'll call it your intuition. And we all have it. We've all heard about it before, about, trust your intuition, trust your gut. Listen to what comes up, listen to what comes out of it. In the world of coaching, when I'm working with my client, that's one thing I always say to them and always help them with is listen to that answer that comes up. Listen to that voice in your head because it's going to give you the answer. The problem is that for the majority of people, and a lot of the times, we don't actually trust ourselves. We don't trust that voice in our head. We don't trust our gut, or we don't listen to our gut, and we end up doing something that ultimately we don't want to be doing. You can put into the example of if you want to eat healthily, you want to start getting yourself fit and healthy, and you go to pick up that chocolate bar, and that voice inside you says, don't eat it, don't have it, you don't want it. Even though part of you is like, oh, but I really, really do. It's like, if you want to get healthy, eating this is going to be a bad thing. Your gut says it as well. It's like, no, don't eat it, but you still pick it up and do it. It's like, why? Why do we not listen to it? Why do we ignore it? Why do we ignore that voice in our head that says, you know what, here's an idea that you can go with that's going to make you happy. Like, it doesn't necessarily come out and say that in such a specific way. But when you have an idea, something that says, maybe go start this business, maybe go speak to that person. Do you ever get a feeling when you're walking past someone, you're having a conversation with someone, or you see someone in a room and your gut or that voice in your head says, go up and talk to that person, but for some reason you don't? You allow fear or something to get in the way and you don't spark up a conversation. Where maybe there could have been a time when you did do that and you listened to your gut, you listened to that voice that said, go speak to this person. You went up and you had a great conversation which actually led to something else. I know when I've had examples of that, or when I've been in those type of situations where I've made a phone call, even if it's down to like doing a sales call for my work, and I've had a conversation with someone, I may have not wanted to do it, but I listened to myself and said, make that call or ask this person about this. Maybe it's a challenge or a problem that you've got, or just a general conversation. But that conversation ends up turning into a friendship, a relationship, or a business deal which happens down the road. But it never would have happened if you didn't initiate that conversation, or if you didn't listen to your gut to start off with. That's one of the coolest things, because you never really know what's going to happen as a result. But there is that voice inside you that it's serving you. It's almost guiding you. It's connecting with who you are at your core and offering suggestions that are going to help align you with that. And so it brings me back to the question again. Why don't we listen to it? Why don't we trust our gut enough? As I touched on a minute ago, a lot of it is down to our fears, our belief systems, our conditioning around them. When we've got some deep-seated beliefs or some deep fear about all sorts of different things. Maybe it's fear of connection, fear of being loved, fear of not being enough, fear of making a mistake, fear of saying the wrong thing, whatever it may be. These are the things which stop us from initiating a conversation or listening to our gut or listening to our voice. If we think about a time where maybe we've been peer pressured into doing something that we didn't really want to do. We didn't listen to our gut when it said, no, don't do this. Don't go along with what they're talking about, or don't go pick up this thing, or whatever it may be. We didn't listen to it, but it's like, why? Usually it's like a fear. It's like, well, maybe I want to be liked, or maybe I want a connection. Maybe I'm looking for friends, or maybe I just don't want to be judged. So I'm just going to say yes and do it. I mean, I have done that myself plenty of times before. There's times where I've said yes, but I really wanted to say no. There's times where I've said no when I really wanted to say yes, because I was holding myself back and I wasn't allowing myself to trust myself, to trust my gut, to listen to that voice in my head that was saying, no, don't go do that. You don't want to do it. Sometimes we can't be blamed for this because there is a big aspect of our conditioning through life. When we come into this world, we are taught to believe certain things. Sometimes we adopt certain fears and angers and sadness, which aren't necessarily ours, but we adopt them from someone else. And then through conditioning of life and social situations, we're told to maybe think a certain way or not to question certain things. And so when it comes to ourselves, we don't trust ourselves enough to go with ourselves, to go with what comes up. And so as a result, what happens? We end up being maybe sad, maybe lonely, maybe just doing things that we don't really want to do, or really living in a life of regret for not doing a lot of the things that we did want to do. What this boils down to is a lack of connection with yourself. One of the things, particularly these days in my own, advancement of my career, my own maturity as a coach, is that I've realized that helping people connect with who they are at their core, connecting with themselves, is one of the best ways and one of the strongest ways to develop a trust with yourself, to be able to start trusting your intuition, listening to that guide, listening to that voice, listening to your gut, and then going with it, with faith, with purpose, with responsibility to yourself to live a very happy and fulfilled life. Connecting with yourself first is by far the most important thing before anything else, because you can develop strength. You can realize the strength inside yourself. You can develop the confidence which is already inside you. It just needs to be nurtured a little bit. This all comes from when you can connect with yourself, when you are connected with yourself, because when you know who you are, when you realize who you are with all your strengths, all your flaws, you can accept it about yourself. You can realize who you are. You can realize what you are about and be okay with it. That's the point. Now, there's going to be areas for growth. There's going to be parts of yourself that you may or may not like, and that's okay. You have to remember, this is still part of you here and now, today. And that's perfectly fine. You may want to change some certain things about your life. That's great. You may want to get rid of some bad habits. You may want to become a bit of a different person in some of the ways you think. That's fine. You can do that. That's all part of your ongoing growth and maturity. But where you are right now and who you are right now is perfect. Everything you've gone through in your life, you are the sum total of all your choices, your decisions, everything you've experienced, everything you've been through, the people that have been in your life. This has all become who you are. This is all part of you today. And without any of that stuff, you wouldn't be who you are today. And so when you realize who you are, when you dig down inside yourself and you think, this is who I am with all my strengths and all my weaknesses, then you can actually become okay with it. Have the areas for growth that you want to grow on, but you can be okay with who you are, because when you're okay with who you are today, you're connecting with yourself. And when you're connecting with yourself, then you can start to trust yourself. You can start to trust your intuition. You can start to listen to that voice inside your head. You can start to go with that gut feeling that's inside you, no matter how scary it may be. Yeah, you might make some mistakes. You might screw up along the way. You might still be fearful. That's fine, because that's part of who you are. But if you're going towards something, if you're listening to yourself, you're getting stronger, you're getting more powerful, you're getting more resilient to anything that's out there in the world. Now, this took me a while to work out in my own life. And today, I realize that some people think I'm weird. Some people think that I am different, or I might be a little bit strange because I don't like a lot of the materialistic things which are out there. I don't get excited by a lot of the things that other people get excited by. I'm not into a lot of the things which other people are into. And as a result, in social situations, I get a little bit fearful sometimes. I feel like sometimes I can't connect with people. I feel like I'm unable to relate to people, because one of the things that really gets me going is having a deep conversation with someone, understanding how they think, talking about the things which I think really matter in life. And that's our connection with ourselves. That's our connection with the universe. It goes beyond the physical things that we can see. Not everyone wants to talk about that stuff. And there is a time and place for mucking around, and I like my fair share of those things as well. But for the most part, people do think I'm weird sometimes. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not here to please anyone. I'm not here to change what I do to make sure other people like me. It's the way I see it. That's not a great way to live. I've dug down deep inside myself, and I've realized my potential flaws. I've realized those type of things about myself, and I'm actually okay with it. I'm okay with who I am, because that actually gives me strength to not care about what other people think. It gives me strength to do the things that I want to do regardless of what people say about me, regardless of how people may think about me. I really don't care about that. If someone's going to judge me for how I think and what I do, if they feel like they can't relate to me, that's fine. I don't need to relate to everyone else, and nor should you. You don't need to relate to everyone and anyone. You know, that's not what life is about. Life is about being you. Life is about enjoying every single day as you, who you are today, and being okay with it. And so if you are struggling to trust yourself, to trust your intuition, if you're struggling to go with your gut when that time comes where your gut says something, here's a couple of things which I think will be able to help you. And number one is just recognize that this is who you are today. Ultimately, what you need to be thinking about is who you are. Realizing that there are some things about yourself that you probably want to change. Realizing that you are who you are today because you've lived a life up until this point that's created you as this human being. Now you can change some things, sure, but this is who you are today. And so the first step is just to be okay with you. All your flaws, all your strengths, everything about you. Be okay with it, because when you're okay with who you are, then you've got the strength to make the changes that you want to make without having to worry about anyone else. And that leads me to number two. Stop caring about what other people think. Stop caring about what other people may be thinking about you or what judgment they may be putting on you. And even if they are putting judgment on you and they make it known to you, who cares? That is them. That is their life. They are coming from their own way of thinking with their own insecurities, their own doubts and their own fears. And they may not be trusting their gut either, which means that they may be feeling more negative or in a bad way about themselves, which means that they're a human being just like you. So there's one question which I always ask my coaching clients anytime they come up to me talking about what fears they have about being judged or what other people may think. The question is this: what can you do about other people, about how they think, about whether they may be judging you, what they may be thinking about you? The answer is nothing. The only thing you can ever do something about is what's going on between your ears, in your head, and in your life. And so if you can focus on that, so focus your control on you and what you think and being okay with who you are, how much easier is life going to become for you? And number three is just always keep at the forefront of your mind to connect with you. Connect with yourself. To connect with who you are, no matter what. The more strength and energy you can put towards connecting with yourself, the easier things will become, and the easier it becomes for you to take the steps which come from a guide, or that voice inside your head, or that feeling you get inside your gut. Those steps become easier when you're confident in yourself, when you can think, you know what, I'm good with myself with all my strengths, all my flaws. I'm going to go and do this anyway. So if you do struggle with these types of things, if you realize inside yourself, you know what, I am struggling to connect with myself, leave a comment below. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below as well. I answer all the comments on the channel here, and I'll get back to you with a few things which I believe will help you. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've gotten something out of it. Enjoy your day, have a great week, and I will see you next time. How's it going? Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I hope there was something in it that is of value to you and is serving you in your day-to-day life. If you did like it, please feel free to give it a like and a subscribe. And also, if you wanted to support more of my work, I do have a link to my Patreon page in the description below. And as well as that, if you're looking for a little bit more access to me, or you'd like to get involved in my community and get some more exclusive content, I do have a free Telegram group which you can join. That is also in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.